Hello, hello, and hello again. Lorwyn Eclipsed is hot off the presses, and it's time for another budget EDH deck that is a blast and can definitely get the job done. We're going with Brigid, Clachan's Heart, not sure if that's how you say it, a 3-2 for white and 2 colorless legendary Kithkin Warrior. Whenever this creature enters or transforms into Brigid, Clachan's Heart, create a 1-1 green and white Kithkin creature token. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay green. If you do, transform Brigid. And when you do, you transform her into Brigid, Dune's Mind. A 3-2 with tap, add X green or X white mana, where X is the number of other creatures you control. And at the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay white. If you do, transform Brigid. If you haven't guessed, we're doing a Kithkin Tribal Deck. And Brigid can make a ton of mana and get us ahead really fast, and also cast some big spells when needed. This deck is packed full of fun and interesting cards, and I will say, if you don't know me or have not seen any of my videos before, jamming the best and most optimal cards is not my idea of fun in EDH deck building. I strive for the unique and not so common ways to win, and most importantly, to enjoy Magic. Yes, my decks can hang with anyone, but again, it's all about enjoying Magic. So let's get the ball rolling. At the time of this video, Brigid is ranked number 1671 with 683 decks. The total cost for our deck today, including the commander, is only $46.52. So let's go over our setup, starting with Valley Rush Banneret, a 2-1 for white 1, Kithkin Soldier, Kithkin spells, and soldier spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Since almost all of our creatures are Kithkin, this can go a long way. There's Beast Whisperer, everyone's favorite, 2-3 for green, 2 colorless, elf, druid. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. We have 35 creatures in the deck, so there's lots of potential. Eclipse Kithkin, 2-1 for 2 hybrid green-white mana, Kithkin Scout. When this creature enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a Kithkin, force, or Plains card from among them, and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. Good way to get some Kithkin or fix some mana. And here we have Mentor of the Meek, a 2-2 for white and 2 colorless, human soldier. Whenever another creature you control with power 2 or less enters, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. This card can get way out of hand and draw us a ton. Next up, Springjack Shepherd, one of my favorites, a 1-2 for white and 3 colorless Kithkin Wizard with Chroma. When this creature enters, create a 0-1 white goat creature token for each white mana symbol in the mana cost of permanents you control. Excellent creature generator that will almost always net you a big pack of goats, and hey, who doesn't want a bunch of goats? Camaraderie, green, white, and 4 colorless sorcery. You gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures you control. Creatures you control get +1/+1 to the end of turn. Decent buff, and a decent draw spell. A similar card is Return the Wild Speaker for green and 4 colorless instant. Choose one. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control, or non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 to end of turn. And of course, we got a couple of generic draw spells, Collective Unconscious, green 4, sorcery, draw a card for each creature control, and of course, good old-fashioned Harmonize, 2 green, 2 colorless sorcery, draw 3 cards. We also have some nice value engine enchantments, like Clachan Festival. Love this card. White, 2 colors for a tribal enchantment Kithkin. When this enchantment enters, create 2 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature tokens, and you can also pay white and 4 colorless to create a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token. It's a nice mana dump. We also have Kin Binding for 2 white, 3 colorless enchantment. Creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures that enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Hey, remember those goats? At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token. And lastly, all the way from Lorwyn, the original series, is Malicious Pride, white and 1 tribal enchantment Kithkin. Whenever a non-token creature you control attacks, you may pay white. If you do, create a 1/1 white Kithkin soldier creature token that's tapped and attacking. And since we are playing green, let's throw some ramp in, because why not? Cultivate. Green and 2 colors sorcery. Search your library for 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, Put one at the battlefield tapped, another in your hand, then shuffle. Farseek, green and one colorless sorcery. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain. We'll be searching for a plains, since none of those others exist in our deck. And Sky Shroud Claim, green and 3 colors sorcery. Search your library for 2 forest cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So here's how we protect our game plan. One of the ways is with Ascend from Avernus. 3 white X colorless sorcery. Return all creature and planeswalker cards with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile Ascend from Avernus. This can easily bring us back after a board wipe or late game, just load the board up again. Brigid, Hero of Kinsbale. The OG Brigid. Love this card, one of my favorite Magic cards of all time. It's a 2/3 for white, 2 colorless, legendary Kithkin Archer with first strike. You can tap. Brigid deals 2 damage to each attacking or blocking creature target player controls. I love this card, and I also have a commander deck for it in the future, which I will show you. Love Brigid, Hero of Kinsbale. Resplendent Mentor, 2/2 for white and 4 colorless, Kithkin Cleric. White creatures you control have tap. You gain 1 life. Nice on a stalled board, and you can get some extra life. Sun Titan, 6/6. 2 white, 4 colorless, giant with vigilance. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Here's Brave the Elements. 1 white, instant, choose a color. White creatures you control gain protection from the chosen color until the end of the turn. Almost all creatures in this deck are white, and this can definitely get you out of some jams, like maybe Blasphemous Act or a big enemy attack, something like that. Or it can also do the opposite. Give your crew protection to break through the enemy blockers. Howlin' Lullaby. What an awesomely weird, awesome lowering card. For white and 1 colorless, it's an instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Clash with an opponent. If you win, creatures that player controls do not untap during the player's next untap step. What is clashing, you ask? Well, each clashing player reveals a top card of their library, then puts that card on their choice of the top or bottom. A player wins if their card had a greater mana value. The clash is extra bonus, and this card can save you from big attacks, and you and your opponent each get to scry. And lastly, we have Ultimate Magic Holy. White and 2 colorless instant. Permanents you control gain indestructible to end of turn. If this spell was cast from exile, prevent all damage that will be dealt to you this turn. It also has Foretell for white and 2. Foretell means during your turn you may pay 2 colorless and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. Awesome card. I mean, I just think you gotta always foretell it. So now let's go over our removal. Starting with board wipes. We have off to your command 2 white, 4 colorless sorcery. You got options. Choose 2. Destroy all artifacts, destroy all enchantments, destroy all creatures with mana value 3 or less, or destroy all creatures with mana value 4 or greater. Lots of options, lots of customization. Dusk Dawn, which is 2 spells. The first you cast from your hand. Dusk, 2 white, 2 colorless, sorcery. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. The second you'll cast from your graveyard. Dawn, 2 white, 3 colorless, sorcery, which has Aftermath. Cast this spell only from the graveyard, then exile it. Return all creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. It's an awesome way to clear the board, and you can get your little Kithkin buddies back later on. Winnowing. 2 white, 4 colorless, sorcery, convoke, which means each creature you tap while casting spell pays for 1 colorless mana or 1 mana of that creature's color. For each player, you choose a creature that player controls, and then each player sacrifices all other creatures they control that don't share a creature type with the chosen creature they control. Another great card is Creeping Corrosion. 2 green, 2 colorless, sorcery. Destroy all artifacts. We don't play artifacts in this deck, and I don't think we need to. I decided to maximize the creature count and still have enough spells to do some things we want to do. And to be honest, like I said, I don't always like running artifacts, especially in green, because we don't need the ramp, and oftentimes opponents' artifact removal can just be dead against us. Now, a truly epic card that is unbelievably appropriate for a Kithkin deck is Spring Cleaning, if you've never heard of it. It's green and 1 colorless instant. Destroy target enchantment. But wait, there's more. You clash with an opponent, and if you win, destroy all enchantments your opponents control. Okay? That's awesome. Doesn't even affect yours. And again, clashing. Each clashing player reveals a top card of the library, then puts that card on their choice, the top or bottom, and a player wins if their card had a greater mana value. Like I said, this card's flavor is off the charts, and I think it's a crime not to play it. And on that topic, there are a few cards that, I'm not going to name any names, but some of the bigger channels, they'll tell you that they're bad, don't play them, but we don't do that here. These cards, they're fun, useful, and they're off the charts for flavor and just fun and just Kithkinness and just, living the dream and just being a Kithkin. So we have a couple spells. Keep Out. I know it's a bad card, technically. White and 1 colorless, instant, choose one. Keep Out deals 4 damage to target tap creature or destroy target enchantment. The little Kithkin waiting in the weeds to attack is pretty cool, and I think playing playing cards like this are just fun. And another card is Protective Response. 1 white, 2 colorless, it's instant with Convoke. Creature can help cast a spell. Each creature you tap, destroy target attacking or blocking creature. Sure, you can just Swords of Plowshare, it's better. But is it more fun? No, not for me in a Kithkin deck. Now that your opponents have had a bunch of tiny angry fists beating them up, and little Kithkin feet just kicking their butt, it's time for the final miniature attack to win the game. There's quite a few build-up cards that pump the team over a few turns, like Gambling Township, which is a land that puts counter on new creatures, and a Johnny Steadfast, a Planeswalker that does the same. But there's big finishers that could do most of the work, and we're going to use cards like Preposterous Proportions. 2 green, 5 colorless sorcery. Creatures you control get +10/+10 and gain vigilance on the turn. Again, you pair this with Brave the Elements or something, it's awesome. And we have the classic Overwhelming Stampede with 2 green, 3 colorless, sorcery to end of turn. Creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And like I said, you can win with those cards, pump them up over turns, use those big blowout finishers, or, you can just nickel and dime people and just outlast because you have a lot of recursion. That's the deck. And a lot of the deck is nostalgia, and to me, that's more than okay. It's comforting and just natural for me to use these old cards, and it's always wonderful to take a trip down memory lane. Old Magic will always have a near and dear place in my heart. It always will. It's so pure and great back then, to me at least. Maybe I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses, but that's just the way I feel. Kithkin are an awesome and super fun tribal, and they have a rich and historic lore dating way back. Brigid is also a nice commander because while she's definitely useful and produces a ton of mana, you may not need her late game, but overall I do think she's an awesome commander in general, and definitely a great choice for a Kithkin Tribal commander. That being said, let me know what you think. What would you put in? What would you take out? And do you have any other commanders that would be fun Kithkin commanders? Besides this Brigid, I'm all ears. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.